it's time to do an oil change. Alright. I'm gonna teach you how to do one. Simple. Right now I got the car on 2 stilts. I got an oil pan. And I got a canister remover. If you have one of those cup tools, that'll probably work a little bit better. But as far as what I use, this is what I use. Like I said, I change oil at work. So this isn't nothing new. I gotta get a better angle on this. There we go. First thing you want to do is make sure that your oil cap up top is open. Second thing you want to do is take off the drain plug. Now, it's depending on the person on how messy you want to get. I personally don't care. I do this for a living. So, you're going to get messy regardless of what you think of it. Not too bad, not too bad. A little splash. Doesn't hurt nobody. Make sure you get all the oil. That's honestly not too bad. That oil, the amount of oil that just came out, that's bad. It was definitely due for an oil change. I'm just gonna let that go. Clean off the old drain plug. I'm gonna put that right back on because there ain't no more oil gonna go on there. I'll say I usually do this standing up, so doing it lay down, I always find that I need like neck support and I don't have it. Grab this, tighten her up. Hand tight ought to do it. You don't need to overdo it and then not be able to take your drain plug off. And plus, I'll make sure that it's tight in a sec once I finish this. Now we're gonna use that cup tool. I don't know how long it's been since I've taken off this filter. So, I hope it gets off. Okay, it looks like she's turning, which is good. I don't want to have to put more excessive force than I have to. And the trick about these is that once you get it loose enough to where you can kind of take it off with your hand, that's when you want to start putting this under. And this is gonna get real messy, so you can't avoid this. Just spin it off a little bit and then let that oil drip out of there. You just keep doing that till that filter comes off. Sit that right in there. This is gonna be my new oil rag, so just make sure all the oil gets squished up in there. All right, so now we have the drain plug tight. What you want to do is lube up the gasket. So prior to the me starting, I put oil around the gasket just to make sure you lube it up properly. Then you want to put this back on. You want to put it on hand tight. Hand tight's all right. All right, if you can't turn it no more, it's tight. It's not gonna move. There's a seal there for a reason. clean up all the excess. Make sure this drain plug is tight one more time. That's gonna be tight. I don't think this tripod goes any much higher, but we'll make do with what we have. Alright. Now that we got the bottom all solved, take that out. You want to take your old filter, and I just kind of set it. There's kind of like this lip for you to set them. It's not purposely for that, but I use it for it. So, send me. And now what I'm going to do is specifically look up how much oil goes in. I'll be right back. You want to have a funnel, which I had a tiny one in there, but this one's a little bit better. And then for the old oil, I have an old container. Pretty sure it was 3.7. .7 quarts. This is about 5 quarts. Now we can pour that oil in. Sometimes I need to do this to see if I properly filled it right. There we go. And that's pretty much it. Clean up any more residue. When you take the funnel out of anything, make sure you tilt it up. Don't tilt it downward. Don't be that guy. This can stay on here for a little bit. And now, put the cap back on, start the car, and make sure there are no leaks around it. That oil light is on. I'm gonna get inside the car for a sec. Basically, just give it a little bit of gas. Only let the RPMs go to like 2. Wait a couple seconds, wait a couple seconds. That's pretty much it. Then go back out. Check if there's any leaks. Drain plug looks good. Oil filter looks even better. So now, turn the car off. Just for this slight sec. Check the dipstick. Nice and full, nice and full. On your dipstick, you're gonna have 2 markers. Typically, it's gonna be it might be signified with an F and an L, low and full, or yeah, low and full. So that'll let you know where you're at. If it's 2 dots, it's basically the lower end. You don't want the oil to be there, towards the lower end of the stick. That's pretty much all that changing your oil is. And now I just get the car back off the ramps. Wipe that oil that I had on the ground. And now what I'm gonna do, hoping that this is focusing on me. Now what I'm gonna do is put the old oil back into here. The other one's not completely empty, so what I'll use that for is whenever the car gets low on oil again, and if we don't have the money to get an oil change at the time, you could save a few bucks at least for a week and be able to do it that way. So make sure all that oil gets out, because it will stain whatever you are trying to, whatever you lay it on. If it's clothing or something like that, it will stain. So make sure you get the majority of it out. Now that we have our oil towel, this is the towel that's really gonna sit in here, and make sure that this isn't so dirty, because even though it is used for oil, I like keeping my materials and things that I use clean. Towels, they'll go regardless, so there's not too much in that. But as far as the pan goes, the pan's plastic. Oil will eventually like dry rot it, so eventually cracks will form, and that's not good. So what we're gonna do is put actually what I'm gonna do is keep this towel for this oil filter, because we have to go to AutoZone. Typically you have to go to AutoZone or an O'Reilly's to drop off old oil and old oil filters. You can't just leave them, toss them out in your local garbage can. That's not how that works. So I'm gonna put this back up, take the car off the lifts, and yeah, that's how you change the oil. Thank you for watching. If you watched this, I hope it gave you some insight on how to change your oil, hopefully. And